Officer, OGP National Secretariat. Welcome aboard, Mr. Philip, to the Prog Show this morning.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Right, it does feel good to have you in the studio. The last time we had, yet another big boss, in the studio, that would have been, I think, Mr. Olushola Babalola. Right, the executive director says that, and now we are having you in the studio. I mean, I'd like you to jump, into the discourse proper, because there are some aspects that Nigerians will want to really have an understanding to. One of it would be the relevance of OGP or to Nigerians, right, and to Nigeria first, and then to Nigerians, and then we'll want to look at some critical questions or concerns, that is deduced from the topic of discourse this morning. The topic of discourse before we jump into these questions.
Okay, thank you very much. So this is discussing the reform achievements of OGP Nigeria since inception, talking about from 2016 till date. Nigeria started developing OGP action plans in 2017. And since then, we have so far implemented about 3 national action plans, NAP 1, NAP 2, and NAP 3. And NAP 3 is ending with this month, January 2025.
Okay.
We are also in the process of developing the 4th national action plan, which we call NAP 4. And so it's very important to talk about these action plans, because all the reform achievements and areas you want to work on in OGP, they are all built up and calibrated into commitments. You get civil society to make commitments to it, you get government agencies to make commitment to it, and we all agree that this is what we want to do, this is what we want to improve, this is the area we want to improve in Nigeria. And then the document is forwarded to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria for assent, who signs it. And then after his signature, the document will now be forwarded to OGP Global. And that is when implementation can begin.
Right.
And so with the President's signature, it becomes a national document, which every stakeholder and partner is working to implement.
All right.
All right.
All
yes.
right. But let me get you into this one. Can you share specific how OGP reforms have improved transparency and accountability in Nigeria?
Okay, basically, most of the achievements, reform achievements that OGP has brought presently in, of course, transparency, but particularly fiscal transparency, talking about money management and all of that. Fiscal transparency, access to information, citizens' engagement and participation. These 3 areas, and then, of course, participatory budgeting. So these 4 areas have received a big chunk of the reform achievements that OGP has brought to Nigeria.
Right.
Yes.
What what other visible involvements, in terms of awareness that Nigerians have in terms of what OGP does and what it stands for?
Okay. In terms of involvement
or participation.
Yes, participation. The process is government and civil society working together. Yes, it is open government, and so it is government that wants to be open. And so that's an open invitation to civil society organizations, citizens and citizens group to come into governance and see how they can join hands together with government to work. And that has been the trend over the years. You have government agencies, ministries, departments, and agencies who lead these commitments. They are the ones that are the lead implementers of these commitments. And then you have civil society organizations who put hands together to work with them to fulfill or implement these commitments. And so even the development of the action plan itself has a lot of citizens' involvement, because you send out public consultation modules, you send out invitations to people to submit commitments, and citizens make inputs. We send out invitations through radio, television, newspaper, and then social media, and citizens make inputs on which areas they want to see on inside the action plan.
Right.
Yes, and then the technical people, government and civil society sit down together, collate these inputs, and then they develop it into commitments with action steps, activities to be carried out. What are the milestones if these activities are achieved? What do we intend to achieve by the end of the day? How can we measure our progress? How can we measure? How can M&E measure success of implementation? So all of that commitment is complete and forwarded.
Well, before now, there's this conversation that between the people and the government, there has been a divide, that there's no trust, between the people and the government. Would you say that with this initiative of OGP, it becomes a confluence point for the people and the government to have interrelatedness and understanding towards development and growth in the country?
Definitely.
It's a bridging gap, or bridging.
Definitely.
Is a bridge.
A huge bridge there. Before now, even MDAs, when you have civil society organizations coming to demand accountability for some kind of things, you have government beginning to feel, and they begin to suspect the people that are coming in. What is this one trying to dig up from me, and all of that. But OGP has come with a brand new platform. Yes, it started in 2016 in Nigeria, but a lot of people are still getting to accept. A lot of people are getting to open up and all of that. Okay, so in this particular one, everybody sits on the table together as equals to to implement these commitments. And before the program is over, I'm going to just mention a couple of commitments, reform achievements, which they are verifiable. There are links you can go to, there are websites, there are links to documents and all of that you can verify these things. And if citizens do not know, they will not be able to engage with government and seek accountability on particular issues. For example, you have the beneficial ownership register, is hosted at bor.cac.gov.ng.
You might want to say that again.
bor.cac.gov.ng.
Okay.
So it is managed by the Corporate Affairs Commission, and it contains the names, little details of people who own companies in Nigeria.
Right.
And so we use it to ensure that there's transparency in contracts awarding, there's transparency in how you deal with people, how government does business. And so citizens can actually just go there, just type one of the big shots in town, one of the big companies, and it will come up. Okay, the portal will populate the details of the people who have significant interest in that particular company. And so from there you can know, okay, this ministry is supposed to award a contract. This contract, did they give it to their brother? Did they give it to their friend? And all of that. So if citizens do not know these achievements, these reform achievements, these things that are out there, it will be difficult for them to engage. And so that's why the OGP Secretariat is trying to push forward these achievements so that they become known to the public. And we also appreciate this program, Eagles FM, for making this possible. Thank you also, SEDEC. Is also a platform for us to tell Nigerians out there what OGP has done, so they begin to engage these platforms, engage these tools that are out there, and begin to seek transparency, accountability for activities, for actions.
Let's put it back to your thoughts. I see that so much to say, so that you can catch your breath and I can catch mine too. We'll be right back. The conversation is still thriving right here and on here. Don't go away.
Eagles 123 FM Abuja. Here to stay.
Are you ready to make your voice heard and demand accountability from the government? The Partnership for Democracy and Accountability Project is here to empower you. With support from Women Partnership and the European Union, this project aims to strengthen the open government partnership process in Nigeria. The goal is to promote inclusive governance, enhance citizens' participation, and build a co-creation process between the government and civil society organizations. This means you will have a say in shaping development and holding the government accountable. By working together, we can create a nurturing spirit and accountable government. So let's make our voices heard and demand a better future for Nigeria. Join the conversation on OGP Open Talk Show and stay updated on the project's progress every Thursday by 11 a.m. exclusively on Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. Together, we can make a difference.
No AC? No problem. We're cooling you down with the freshest hits.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
And yes, back from catching our breath right there, we're still in converse with one who is Mr. Philip Mustafa Ahmed, is a sub-national advisor, technology and innovation officer with OGP National Secretariat. And yes, just to also put it out there, the social research, right, and development center, SERDEC, is also, allowing for this to thrive on here, as well as the OGP hashtag Open Talk Show, and that's why we're having this discourse. And now some of y'all might be asking the question of what relevance is this discourse to me? Well, the relevance, I would let my guest, who is ably seated here and very full of information, to give it to you, and as well as we look at some of the challenges, that has been faced by these reforms, towards bringing about the rightful achievements in the long run. All right. So what's the relevance, though, to the listener, the person listening now wants to know, how does this affect me? Or why am I even listening to this?
Okay, yes. So in the history of Nigeria, yes, there have been a couple of reforms. There have been a couple of platforms where government is trying to improve governance. But so far, we have not seen any with the kind of impact that OGP has brought. So OGP is very, very relevant to government, relevant to MDAs, relevant to civil society organizations, relevant to citizens. Every Nigerian, every citizen of the country benefits from OGP. It's a win-win kind of situation. Everybody takes all. Yes, this is our country. This is our nation. Nigeria belongs to all of us. And so OGP has come to open up government to citizens' input and citizens' oversight. Okay, through civil society organizations and citizens groups. So because of OGP, you can now engage with government. You can engage to find out. I think like last year or so, I was in Bayelsa State, and I did a presentation, and I had to talk about an application you can use to track government projects, right? And then right there, I told them the name of the application they downloaded, they installed, and somebody just typed the name of his village and discovered that, a road had been awarded in his village, and the amount actually for that particular road is there. Okay, you have IMAC, which is managed by the Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning. imac.ng. That's where you find that particular one.
That's IMAC, or HI?
I of EYE.
Oh, like the EYE.
Then MAC, like to tick something.
Oh, MARK.
Yes.
IMAC.
So it's a platform where, of course, developed from an OGP commitment, where citizens can actually help governments to track the development and delivery of projects and contracts. Okay, you can actually pick up your phone and snap the picture of that particular project which is being built or developed or whatever project it is, and then you upload it on that particular platform. Now the photo you take is the longitude and latitude of that particular location, so it cannot be forged. It is original and it is real time. Okay, so imac.ng. And so that helps citizens to engage with the governance process and contribute their own quota. We have never had it like this in Nigeria, where citizens can make their input directly, into governance. And this is what OGP has brought to Nigeria. Also building trust between government and citizens.
People. Well,
Yes.
just in case you all didn't know, OGP stands for the Open Government Partnership. That's how they got it, OGP. And it's a global initiative that aims to promote transparency, accountability, and citizen participation in governance. Well, I understand that there are comparative analysis, and then when you look at OGP reforms and achievements in Nigeria with other countries, it does provide some valuable insights. For example, a comparison with South Africa and Ghana in Africa, and the United States and the United Kingdom in developed world can highlight some best practices and challenges in implementing open government reforms. Now, one of such would be the institutional weakness, and the Nigerian government may face challenges in implementing OGP reforms due to institutional weaknesses, such as lack of capacity and resources. And there's also the place of corruption, where corruption is playing, of course, a major challenge in Nigeria and hindering implementation of OGP reforms. Lack of citizen participation. There is also the place of lack of essential or success of OGP reforms, because it may be challenging to encourage citizens to participate in decision-making process, and of course looking at the limited access to information and all of this. Now, if you put all of these together as the challenges, how would you say that you've been able to navigate through all of these challenges as a way forward to better enlighten the citizenry and put OGP in a place of trust, where Nigerians can trust the platform and see indeed that it is not just audio like we always have? They say mere rhetorics, audio money and the rest. No, that it's something that we can visibly feel, see, hold, and confirm and validate.
Yes. Okay, so yes, you are very correct. There are challenges we are facing currently with implementation of OGP commitments. And of course, all the countries you called out earlier also, cited some countries as examples. All of them, of course, are members of OGP.
Right.
They are implementing OGP principles. Yes, and then we know these countries. We also know the challenges they are also facing. Nigeria is facing, of course, her own, and a couple of them. Now, you are telling the government to be open. Okay, that's the number one challenge we face in that area. You are telling government to be open. You just walk into the office and then you are presenting open government partnership. Okay, so the first thing is why are they here? Right? What are they trying to get? Are they trying to get some information to
spy on
me
us
and all of that?
Yeah.
Yes. So you get this kind of resistance at the first time you come in, but with continuous efforts, continuous sensitization through different approaches, using civil society organizations, using government functionaries, government officials who are already in the OGP space, implementing OGP commitments, using those multifaceted strategy, we are able to make people see that this thing is a good thing. It's a win-win for everyone. It can only help your effort as a government person, help you to deliver better. Okay, so that's one of the ways we've been able to overcome the challenge, talking about getting government buy-in into the process. For citizens, talking about we use, of course, awareness creation, sensitization. Civil society organizations also do a lot in this area, and you now have a situation whereby it is citizens. Okay, now an example. During the last, when we were developing the OGP Third National Action Plan, NAP3, which is ending by January,
you mentioned,
we sent out invitation for people to submit the areas they feel should be captured in the OGP Action Plan. It will shock you. It will shock you that we gathered hundreds of thousands of suggestions of areas where people feel should be in that action plan.
Great.
Okay, so we have to now start weeding it through particular filters which we use currently in action plan development. What is the priority of government? In all of these things they have submitted, which ones are in line with government priority?
Right.
Now we have President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as our president in Nigeria, and so he has the 8-point agenda. Yes, so our action plan should be in line with that. It helps to ease implementation, helps to ease buy-in, and a lot of things, and funding and all of that.
Okay.
Right? So we had to now use a filter, those filters, to weed out commitments that we do not want and all of that, and then we put them together and came up with a national document.
Okay.
And so all of this will tell you that Nigerians want this thing. Nigerians want to participate in governance. Nigerians are hungry to be heard, and OGP presents a platform. Okay, so that's one way we've been able to find our way around it. Yes, corruption is still there, but fiscal transparency thematic area has really worked hard to improve openness. Yes, in governance, openness, transparency.
Has there been some successes?
Definitely.
Okay.
They are part of the achievements I'm going to mention.
Awesome.
Yes. So you now have platforms that that enforces accountability. You do not have a choice. If you subscribe to technology and you do a transaction using a tech platform, the right, it leaves a footprint, and you cannot go back and erase it. All right. So we have used technology. We have used a lot of other tools to make sure that you try and eliminate or reduce corruption in the process, in governance, and it has really worked.
So there's been compliance in that, in that regard.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, you're going to give us what are the expected successes? I mean, we're discussing reforms and achievements. What are the expected successes, in the process or from the process?
Okay. So what we expect is a governance that citizens have a say in. At the end of the day, that all we are doing, all the achievements, all the reforms we are bringing up, that at the end of the day, that we achieve good governance. And good governance is one that the government is accountable to the people, and citizens have oversight. They have a voice in the process of governance, right? That we eliminate corruption in Nigeria. Yes, that we become very open and transparent, that we get to a point or a place where we do not just get up and implement projects. We consult the people, right? What is it you want? You have situations where hospitals are built and the people have a tradition that they do not believe in those hospitals. They use traditional medicine, right? So OGP has come through citizens engagement or citizens participation working groups in OGP. You can have that conversation that with citizens and they know what they need, okay, so that your projects become citizen centric, become a national one, that citizens decide, citizens have a voice into what you use their own money to implement or to do.
So you're saying that with this interface, right, we might be seeing lesser strikes and protests because there's a platform that allows for a merger between the government and the people to sit in a round table and show accountability and transparency.
Definitely, yes.
Well, are there any other additions that you want to add? I mean, as a conclusion, to this discourse this morning.
Okay, so so far, I don't want this program to end without mentioning some of the achievements.
Yes, let's get to it. Let's get into it.
Citizens are aware of them. Earlier, I mentioned bor.cac.gov.ng.
Right.
Yes, a platform which populates the particulars of people with significant interest in government office, in companies.
Okay.
Corporate companies in Nigeria.
Okay.
Right. And then you also have another beneficial ownership register also for the extractive sector.
Okay.
Right. That one is managed by NEITI.
Oh, NEITI.
Yes, EITI. And so you can find that at bor.neiti.gov.ng. bor.neiti.ng.
Okay.
And so that one is for those companies that work in the extractive sector, oil and gas and all of that.
Yes.
So you also have another one at nuprc.gov.ng. nuprc.gov.ng. So NUPRC is Nigeria Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission.
Right.
Yes, and then they have this portal. They also populate there licenses of contracts that have been awarded, permits, payments, and all of that. They are populated on that particular website, talking about oil and gas right now. And then also OGP has helped to improve compliance by ministries, departments, and agencies in FOI, Freedom of Information Act. And that is talking about access to information. That is a very strong point in the fight against corruption and all of that. So you can check that out at foivolt.ng. FOI Volt, FAULT.ng, and then there you can even get a ranking of ministries, departments, and agencies and how they have responded to Freedom of Information Act requests from citizens. So these and a couple of other achievements are what OGP has accentuated so far, and yes, and IMAC and the rest also.
Well, we cannot go any further. We want to say a big thank you. The conversation doesn't seem like it should end, but I'm looking forward to next week, hoping that we'll have more conversation. But yes, in case you've been wondering, who's has been the voice of Philip Mustafa Ahmed, is a sub-national advisor, technology and innovation officer of the OGP National Secretariat, and he's been the speaker as we delve into the topic discussing OGP reforms and achievements in Nigeria. Well, thank you for your time with us, and I'm sure you got some knowledge, from this discourse. The OGP is looking into creating that platform whereby we will be having less of distress and complainings and strikes and the protest and all of that, which has indeed crippled our economies. I mean, for the days that all this protest goes on, our economy gets crippled. But then there are better ways of still really reaching out with the government, sitting with the government and saying, hey, this is what we want as a people. And government also leveraging on this platform will engage with us, and we can reach a very consolidated point of view in anything that bothers us. Well, this is where we call it a close. Thank you, Far Too Kind. My name is Udwak Daniel. Thank you for coming to the studio today.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Yes, in case you missed the program,